everyone, it's Steph from Crayola. Now, if you haven't quarantined since our DIY washable window pane episode last week, not to worry, neither have I. Ba-da-da-da. Welcome to Sundays with Steph, everyone, the series that lets you get crafty from the comfort of your own home. It seems like the past few months, everybody's been bitten by the baking bug, including me.
What does it even mean to fold in chocolate chips?
Now, if you're as skilled of a baker as I am, or if you just want to try something new with your kids, we've got a fun, less stress activity for you. Today's DIY dough project is inspired by our fans that are taking their talents out of the kitchen and into the craft room. While we can recommend Crayola Model Magic or Crayola Dough for all of your modeling compound needs, this is a great activity if you don't happen to have those products at home. What you'll need to get started are some Crayola markers. Here I have some ultra clean washable markers in bright colors because I'm going for a pastel look for my dough. But if you have classic broadline markers or Crayola washable super tips, those will work just as great. You'll also need some flour. The most exciting part of this project is you can use regular flour or a gluten-free substitute if there's someone in your house with a gluten sensitivity. Your best gluten-free substitute that's going to help you maintain the ratios for this recipe is anything that's marked as 1-to-1 or measure for measure, like the kind that I have here. That said, if you have almond flour, rice flour, or gluten-free all-purpose flour, those are great substitutes. They just may change the proportions slightly. You'll also need table salt, vegetable oil, and water. The final ingredient you'll need is baking powder. Now, the baking powder in this recipe acts as a substitute for cream of tartar, which you can see in a lot of homemade dough recipes. Because if you're anything like me, you don't have cream of tartar at your house, and you probably can't tell the difference between cream of tartar and tartar sauce. Finally, you'll need measuring cups and measuring spoons, a mixing bowl, and some mixing tools. If you're not making your mixture in the kitchen, I'd recommend covering your work surface to help with any overflow that might come out of the bowl and to avoid any oily residue on the surface that you're working on once you start playing with your dough. First, we're gonna add in 1 3/4 cups of flour, a 1/2 cup of salt, and 2 tablespoons of baking powder. You're also going to want to keep an unmeasured amount of flour next to your bowl for later on in our mixing process. We're just going to mix our dry ingredients here. You're going to want to try and get as many clumps out as you can, but don't worry if it's not completely smooth, because that will work itself out later in the mixing process when we add our wet ingredients. You're then going to add 2 tablespoons of oil and 1 cup of water to the bowl. It's important that your water be warm or hot for this recipe, so this is a step that's just for adults. I pop my 1 cup of water into the microwave for 30 seconds and I get the temp that I'm looking for. Now I'm just gonna pour my water in and start to stir. You'll see that the dough is slowly starting to form and that the dough is sticking less to the sides of the bowl. After mixing everything together, you'll want to do a quick temperature test with your finger to make sure the dough has cooled off slightly before asking your kiddos for help kneading the dough. Once you're ready to knead, this is where the side bowl of flour will come in handy. Your mixture will likely still be a little sticky, and the flour will help to ensure your hands don't become a doughy mess. Once you're at your desired consistency, which is going to be smooth and structured, but not too crumbly, you're going to want to set your dough down for about 10 minutes just to cool off completely before you add your color in. Now comes the fun part of adding color to your dough. As you may have seen, I have some of my rainbow colors of dough set up here from a previous batch that I've made. But for this batch, I'm going to take my purple marker and just dab it on top of the dough. Next, we'll fold inward so that we have the wet ink in the middle of the dough and start to peel and fold to really mix in the color. You can keep adding as much color and folding as many times as you want until your color is picture perfect. Our level up segment today is actually a choose your own adventure. Or choose your dough adventure, if you will. Want to make your dough tie-dye? Go for it. Combine 2 marker colors on 1 piece of dough, or twist together 2 different colors of dough. Want to teach color and shape recognition to your kids? Draw up some quick flashcards and grab some cookie cutters. Have your children match what they see on the card you show them. Want to create cute food to fill the baking skills shaped void in your life like I do? Construct a cookie or cupcake that has no chance whatsoever of setting off your smoke alarm. Just remember, even though Crayola products are safe and non-toxic, they're not food grade. So, even if your creation was made with things from the kitchen and looks good enough to eat, just remind your kiddos and the hungry humans in your house that this recipe is not for snacking. Thanks so much for stopping by, and be on the lookout next week for our next episode. Be sure to hop on over to our Facebook page during the week for some more craft inspiration. Don't forget to share any and all creations with us using the hashtag CrayolaCrafts, because you never know, you might just be featured on the next installment of Ba-Da-Da-Da.